All right, let's take a look at that. So, going to be first lap. I'm sure you could do it second lap if you really wanted to, but it doesn't. You don't need to. So first lap here, you really want to get super slow and up by the wall. And this is going to be weird because this corner lasts longer than you think it would. So I turned down very late off the wall with the goal of being full throttle and hitting the apex or the white line right when this opening starts. So right where this opening to the pit road starts, that's when I want to have my car full throttle and turned all the way down. And that's when I want to start coming back up the track, and you'll be able to full throttle from there. If you turn down too early, if you turn down, say like right here, you won't have the angle to get off the corner because it's a pretty tight exit. And so you're going to have to lift and stuff. And it's actually worth a decent amount of time to carry the speed. So you really want to make sure to delay your apex on the white line for as long as possible, and then just make it as straight as a corner off as possible. Okay, now going to turn one. You can dive this in pretty darn deep. I don't recommend you have to brake as early as I did, or as late as I did, sorry. So I got on the brake. I don't even know a good marker for this, to be completely honest with you. This is where I got on the brake. You want to be between 60 and 70%. That's about what you can hit without locking up or over driving entry. So it's about 70%. And then as you'll notice that I start out straight, and then as I turn down the hill, I want to turn down the hill before the turn even starts. So before you get to this green light, you want to be pointed at where you want to end up in the corner, and you want to lower your brake as you start coming down the hill. So half brake now, and then I bring it down to about 20% as I start to turn the wheel, and as I turn the wheel more, 10%. So what I was aiming for, you can really aim for anywhere between the curb and the first seam. You can just aim it straight and everywhere, and then you let the wheel and the brake kind of choreography in a way where you can just stick the car on this second groove right here. This is where you want to end up. So you can get to the bottom, slide up about a groove, but it's a little bit faster just to get to that groove in the first place. So you see that once I stick that second groove, I go straight from my brake, so brake all the way up to this groove, and then straight to half throttle. And then I hold half throttle until I can start unloading the wheel. And that all happens pretty fast, but as long as you just experiment with holding your brake until getting back on half throttle, and then holding half throttle until you see corner exit. So I see corner exit there, unload the wheel, bring the car off the corner. Let's take a look at that one more time, full, or no pausing. So brake, dip a little bit below the first seam, trail brake all the way back up to it, pick up your half throttle around it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and then as you start to unload your wheel, go with the full throttle. Cool. All right, now we are going to 3 and 4. Same idea. The corners honestly drive fairly similar, even if they are different shapes. You just have to be more mindful of your braking in this one. So again, I don't have a good braking point for you. You can see right here, I go about 60% brake again. I was pretty timid in the half 50% brake there because I didn't really need to be slowing down all that much for this. For 3 and 4, once again, I'm just aiming for that second groove, but instead of keeping it up there, I want to stick the second groove and then maintain my brake until my car pitches down the hill so that I can pick up the half throttle and bring the car back down to the curb. Don't touch the curb, that's gonna make you sad. But the reason for that is that the corner exit is a little bit tighter in turn 4, so you want the extra real estate to get on the throttle early and drive the car off the corner, whereas if you're in the second lane, you'd have to wait longer to get back on the throttle. And we don't want to have to wait longer to get back on the throttle, so we hold our trail brake. Instead of sticking it to our groove, we're going to hold our trail brake till it pitches our car down, and then we pick up half throttle, hold that until we get down to the curb, and then again, once we see the exit, we're going to unload the wheel and go full throttle. All right. A little bit different than 1 and 2, but a couple of the same fundamentals. All right, now let's go take a look at long run. All right, now let's talk about long run. So this track is very interesting in the lines that you run. I think for long run, you could go with those qualifying lines that I was showing you, but it's all about not overdriving the entry and using your brake to do as much of the work as possible. So as you'll see here, when I go into a corner, I'm going to be braking a lot earlier than you're used to seeing me brake, and I'm just going to get it to the bottom. You don't need to get all the way to the bottom. That second line really is pretty good. But in terms of like making sure that you're not over driving, running a decent enough lap time, not putting any stress on the tires, that bottom line in 1 is going to be really nice. 3, you also can bring it straight to the bottom. I'll show you right here. You just get back to the throttle and you just roll it on half throttle for most of the corner. You see that I lose some time because I didn't set up for that angle where I get on the throttle earlier. So it's about 4/10 off like my best lap. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get passed around the outside if you're running this line right here. The only thing is that you got to make sure that they can't like dive bomb you on the outside, which sounds kind of silly, but it can happen. So you see I can set up for a little bit wider entry here, and it'll really help me get some speed corner center. So if you're under pressure, that wider entry into 3 is going to be how you do it. And then that entry is also how you'll do it once your tires get a little bit older. But while you have some of that right front still on there, you just gotta get it into the corner, get it on its groove. Make sure you're not pushing the car too hard. If you are too late on the braking, if you're too hard on the braking, and if you are, say, too low of a brake bias, that's a good recipe for getting your right rear tire to kick out on entry, and that'll just really heat up the rear, make the rest of the corner a little bit harder, make it easier to slide the rear, get some more heat in it, and it's just a compounding thing there. You see I can dive it pretty far in, but you really want to keep that brake for the whole corner until the car weight shifts. I'll do a couple more laps here. The way that I'm driving this car right now should be very neutral on the tires, maybe a little right front over right rear. Just because I think I'm getting a little bit early back on the throttle. I could let it roll a little bit longer and take some of that pressure off the right front or some of that wear. But you just don't want to overcook these corners. You can see that's about as deep as you want to get it. If your car is sliding up like mine did there, that's kind of a sign that you entered the corner too late. But another big thing is making sure you're turning into the corner early. So you gotta get the turn in early as soon as you ride. Put that brake, get it settled on the bottom, roll the bottom, keep that throttle, and then just kind of drive the car as straight as you can, as neutral as you can off the corner. Should be on pretty even tire wear. Check that out here. 34.5, some fall off even early. You just don't want to overdrive the car here. That's the big thing. Yeah, 97.99. So yeah, right front. A lot of right front there. So using as much of that brake to turn, lowering the brake bias, making sure you're pointing the car with your brake before your steering wheel. That's how you're going to help yourself out in this combo. Alrighty. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.